retirement's broken. So it's absolutely broken. Retirement was initially invented when life expectancy was really short, post-retirement. We didn't really need to stretch capital that long. Am I going to be okay? And am I going to be able to look after myself and my wife or my family? Am I going to become dependent on my kids or on society? Am I going to be seen to be a failure? These elements of security are central to that stage. The redesigning yourself will almost certainly require you to have a mindset shift from, and especially, and I'm speaking directly to employees here, entrepreneurs have a massive advantage in this space because they already know and they have the experience of having to wake up each morning partially unemployed. And it's not as daunting as employees think it is, but addressing that mindset shift, learning how to create their own unique value proposition. So I speak into what are your unique sets of strengths? How can you add value? Strip away the fancy words. How can we add value? And then if we work out how if that individual can work out how they can add value, it's just about packaging it correctly. And being willing to graze your knee. You've got to show some courage. And unfortunately, you get to your 60s and a lot of people go inward and they get a bit tight or nervous or scared. And it takes a huge amount of bravery, but you'll be rewarded for the bravery. You absolutely will be rewarded with the option, that chocolate transition side of the option to continue to add value to society, even if you've got enough money. It's very rewarding and purposeful work. And if you don't have enough money, you have the option to still look after yourself, which brings independence and freedom and these things that are really scary when you don't have them. So what I look to do with clients of mine or prospective clients that are approaching retirement, traditional retirement environments, is on the balance sheet side. So if we're looking at capital, we're looking at money over time, so seeing how that's going to last. On that side, we go, okay, how do we look after your obligations? So roof over your head, lights and water, food on the table, medical aid, your basics, right? How do we get the capital to protect your foundational elements of your life? So all your obligations and your duties are taken care of from the capital. And then I encourage individuals to find a way to work and continue to add value in a way that works for them. So it's no longer 60 hours a week or 40 hours a week or 5 days a week. We can move away from this full-time environment, and depending on how you want to set it up, you can adjust. So maybe you pull back to 3 days a week or 3 mornings a week. One of my favorite cases I've worked on is an individual who retired at 65 and has worked 3 mornings a week for the past 13 years now, and they love it. They go in, they get to have those water cooler chats. How's the family? The pocket money they earn off of it, because it's not as much as it was, obviously, but the money they earn off of it, they put it back into an annual trip for the family to a game reserve, so that the context of the work changes, the framing of the work changes. Age, so the bottom axis is time, and then this is money, and then you have this kind of fixed date. Traditionally, you'll have a fixed date for retirement. So what you have pre-retirement is you have positive compounding as it comes through, and then post-retirement, traditionally, you have a negative compounding environment. So as people eat from their capital, the capital reduces, and sometimes at an ever accelerating rate, meaning it's not a linear death of the money, it's an accelerating death of the money. Most people have these experiences here where money accelerates really quickly. Some people are happy for it to be spend your last rand as you step into the grave. What we try to do, we try to preserve full capital and create legacy effectively. So that's what I like. Chocolate transition is about how do we get our capital to look after our obligations for as long as is required. We plan till age 95. And then how do we get our work, which is still healthy and important to us, to be designed in a way that serves us and looks after our health and well-being. So perhaps no longer full-time, perhaps you choose just parts of the work you want to do and delegate and outsource the rest. But the income that's generated from that becomes chocolate money. And everyone loves chocolate, right? I mean, some more than others.